Friends, good evening. Thank you for joining us to another Gnostic Lab of Practical Application. Tonight, our practice is with the mantra AUM CHIVATUM. This is wonderful mantra. And you know what it does? It awakens your faculty to perceive with your inner ear. It is an amazing practice, and we have seen that it returns results immediately. Problem that I have seen as well, and I shouldn't say that, I'm going to have to edit this out of the video. One thing that I have noticed as well, I shouldn't say that again. One thing that we have noticed is that some students will say, I've practiced it and I don't feel anything. But in reality, they start listening with a lot more clarity to the voice of the innermost, the silent word. But there is still so much conditioning that even though that voice is being heard, they extinguish that flame from the innermost and they continue with the commitments of the ego. And we have noticed this, some students, and certainly this is something that has been experienced as well. So the moment that you start perceiving this, you will see how wonderful it is. So let's go ahead and give you just a little bit of background. Let's give you just a little bit of background so that you can see where is the chakra, what is it that it does, how does the mantra work? Because we believe that the more you can understand on all this additional information about the chakra, the more benefit you're going to get from the practice. If we speak of the creative larynx, some people say, the creative larynx is right here. And that's fine, because the fact is that we are just making an indication of where our throat is. But there's a little bit more specific. We need to get a little bit more specific than that. This creative larynx is known as the chakra Vishuda. And Vishuda means purity. It means actually especially pure. Whenever we're dealing with this particular creative center that uses the power of the creative word to exercise and manifest creation, well, there has to be a degree of purity that has to come into play. And of course, that purity has to be manifested first within the sphere of thought. We know that before things manifest here, they have already manifested themselves in the higher planes of consciousness. So there has to be a purity of thought and a purity of sentiment, and then a purity on the investment of the creative power to see that word generate and materialize. So, Vishuda means especially pure. This particular chakra is also known as the Church of Sardis in the book of Revelations. That means that whenever you find yourself reading that particular book, that is a very mysterious book. The moment you see Ephesus, Smyrna, Sardis, Laodicea, etc., you know that they are speaking about the seven churches, the main chakras in the human machine. And notice, where is it that this particular chakra is located? It is certainly not down here at the throat. It is located at the point of union of the spine and the medulla oblongata. Take a look at the image on the screen. You will be able to see the medulla oblongata and the connection of the spinal cord as a direct line that goes along the line that make the teeth when the upper and the lower jaws come together. As you direct that back into your neck, it is way up there where you can find it. And there is a sound associated to this chakra. This sound of the chakra is known as a pranava, and that sound is the vowel hum. More on that in a second. This particular chakra of the creative larynx, it has a magnificent influence over the human body. It controls and it governs the skin. It influences the ear, the mouth, and your breathing. And it is intimately associated with the thyroid gland. We know that we have these chakras wherever we have a plexus. We know that a plexus has been clearly defined as a place in the body where you have the union of arterial and venous blood. That means blood that is rich with oxygen and blood that is coming back into the heart where oxygen has been depleted. And on top of that, we have a union of venous and arterial blood, and we also have nerve endings in that particular location. We already know that these chakras, that they have a filter, a layer called the Buddhic mesh. And this Buddhic mesh will filter energies that are coming from the astral plane, and that will deposit these energies within our own human organism. The Buddhic mesh will filter and deliver us only the most subtle of those energies, and the energies that we receive through the Buddhic mesh into the chakra are manifestations of the tattvas. This is the type of energy that we are receiving. And all of this is happening here at the level of the thyroid gland. But because we're going to have to do some visualization for this practice to work at its best, you need to know this. Remember that this chakra is white. Its name is especially pure. And the color is a very bright white. If you can imagine the brightest white that you can, imagine that your larynx has the capacity to irradiate the light of 1,000 suns. And you've got the right color. Lamentably, there are so many visuals on the chakras that many people have come to believe that this particular chakra Vishuda, that it is of a color blue or indigo, but it is not that. The chakra is indeed white. And it has 16 petals, 16 points of radiation. Only 8 of them are active today. And the tattva, the vibration of the ether that is associated with this particular center, is the tattva akash. So remember, where is it that it's located? It is right there at the very base of the neck, in that spot where the spine ends and the head starts. It is right there. And you know that it radiates of a color white, and that when the chakra is spinning, it is spinning clockwise in the same direction as if you were standing in front of a wall clock. See where the chakra is located, see this color, and see the chakra rotating. When you do this visualization and you are chanting this mantra, you will be able to experience the power of this word of power itself. So what is it that this creative larynx does for us? Well, this chakra gives the practitioner the ability to listen while here in the physical plane, the words, the music, expressions that happen in the higher realms of consciousness. And you hear it with utmost clarity. It allows for the comprehension of the esotericism of all of the sacred texts. So as you practice with this mantra, suddenly you find yourself reading a story, Arjuna and Krishna out in the battlefield, or you may come across some writings from the Bhagavad Gita or some parable from the great master Yeshua. And the moment that you read it, suddenly the symbols have a deeper meaning. There is a more profound shock imprint as you receive that teaching. This particular chakra gives us the ability to know the past, the present, and the future of all that exists in the universe. Now we share this, of course, Samael gives this information, we will certainly share it. But there's also a little disclaimer that has to exist here. Remember that Samael says that as the faculties of our chakras are incipient, that we need to keep all of these experiences very internalized. If we suddenly hear something, if we perceive, if we see, and we start sharing, and we don't know for a fact if what we're seeing is just a recurrence or we're seeing an image that took place 1 or 2 lives ago, well, thinking that that may be happening at this moment could be a mistake, and we could get ourselves or other people in troubles, in confusions. We may create conflicts. So this is good because it gives you an ability to expand your consciousness and perceive better, to hear, to comprehend, to know. That means that this chakra is super useful when it comes to complementing those faculties of imagination, inspiration, and intuition. How is it that we can work with this? First, you visualize the location of the chakra in the body. You already know what that is. You visualize the color of the chakra. You already know the color of the chakra. You can see that chakra active, rotating clockwise. And then we chant the mantra. The moment you're going to bring an exercise of meditation, into your daily activities, you can meditate in this chakra by visualizing its location, its color, its rotation, and meditate by singing mentally the pranava hum. Pranava is a word that it means a syllable that gives life. It has many meanings, many meanings. But hum is this particular syllable that gives life. And you have heard hum before. Because when we have done hamsa, we have been invoking power through this very particular mantra. So for the mantra AUM CHIVATUM E, another meaning of pranava is a controller of life force and life giver. It reads here, CHIVATUM, but we cannot be surprised if that Shiva is indeed invoking a force of the Holy Spirit, of Shiva, the great destroyer, the manifestation of the Holy Spirit within the divine trinity of the ancient Hindi. This fragment AUM in the mantra, well, this is the most sacred of the holy words, because AUM is the innermost. But it is the innermost with its consciousness, with its mind, with all of its manifestation. Yes, it says consciousness. What is the consciousness of the innermost? Well, we know that the innermost, that's a manifestation of the Glorian. It's also a divine trinity. And that consciousness of the innermost, we see how it contains it as the spiritual soul, Buddhi. And then the mind of the innermost is that human soul of the innermost. It is the superior manas of theosophy, what we find in the sphere of Tiferet. So we find AUM as an invocation to the innermost, and we see the singing of 4 or 5 specific vowels, A-U-M-I-E. The letter A resonates within the heart chakra, particularly at the level of the thymus gland, but it also invites the vibration of the chakras of the lungs. The letter U invites fire from the solar plexus. The letter M, the vibration of the creative water within our sexual centers. The letter I, that sounds E, the vibration of the chakras of the head. And the letter A is the one that enables the vibration of the larynx. So when we sing AUM CHIVATUM E, it will sound something like this. AUM CHIVATUM E. And that is a practice that we're doing tonight. We will relax the body. We will see the location of the chakra, the color, and the chakra in a healthy rotation. And we will focus our creative energies so that we can sing this mantra, AUM CHIVATUM E. We have a good amount of time for this practice. I think that you're going to enjoy it. Let's go ahead and start by closing our eyes. I will invite all of you to assume a very comfortable posture. If you can be sitting, even better. Those of you sitting, allow your feet to rest flat on the floor. Rest your hands on your thighs and keep your spine vertical. Allow your head to rest comfortably on your shoulders without any particular strain. Those of you who are so fortunate that you can sit comfortably in that lotus posture, by all means, cross your legs and let's go with the practice. Let's start by taking a deep breath in 1, 2. With every exhalation, allow your body just to sink a little deeper onto that surface. 1, 2. 1, 2. For good practice, let's bring about the protection of a good flaming star. Let's do this by reciting the mantra Klim Krishnaya. If you have not chanted this mantra before, whenever we recite the mantra Krim Krishnaya, there is a flaming star that encapsulates us, that isolates us. It is a flaming star that brings onto us a good circle of protection. The mantra is Klim Krishnaya Govindaya Kopihana Vaya Vaya Swaha. Let's recite that again for good practice. Klim Krishnaya Govindaya Kopihana Vaya Vaya Swaha. Let's recite it one more time for good practice. Klim Krishnaya Govindaya Kopihana Vaya Vaya Swaha. As you sit comfortably on your chair, and as we start allowing the physical body just to sink a little deeper onto that surface, if you were to look upwards with the eye of your intuition, you would not be surprised to see that flaming star shining upon you. And we can perceive that, and we perceive it with gratitude and gratefulness. And as we have done this, let's go ahead and make ourselves of the sensations in our physical body. If there is anything at this moment that feels a little uncomfortable, a watch, your shoes, a ponytail, some earrings, this is a good time just to release that tension. As some of you do this, let's take another deep breath in 1, 2. And now let's make ourselves aware of our emotional state. Some of us may have a right to this practice today with a lot of excitement. Others may find yourselves content. Some may feel a little indifferent. And yet there may be other of us who have been going through the many difficult challenges of the day, and we may find ourselves uncertain or worried. Some perhaps carrying some fears, maybe some frustrations. Regardless of what is that emotional state, what is important is that we become well aware of it. Because whether we are happy or sad, whether we are joyful or frustrated, these emotions are identical in kind, but they are infinitely different in degree. And when they are part of a continuum that happens to be the continuum through which the pendulum flows from one direction into the other, so know that you are very empowered to assume a third posture, one in which you are not swinging with the pendulum, but one in which you can contemplate what is your emotion, and at the same time, what is the potential for the other opposite thing to exist. And as you perceive that, you can clearly observe the flow of the pendulum, and rather than being caught in the dramas or in the tragedies, you can observe them from a standpoint of contemplation. This empowers you to identify much better your psychological aggregates and to see how they influence your thoughts, your emotions, your habits, how they steal of your creative energy. So knowing this, we take another deep breath in 1, 2. And we invoke our innermost by saying, Divine Father, Father of mine, you who are my true being, you who are my eternal God, we are here humbly at your presence, asking of you and begging of you that it is you the one who officiates in this practice. Let it be you, Divine Father, the one who sings these words of power. Allow these words of power to resonate throughout the higher planes of consciousness. And grant us of your grace, of the opportunity to experience the depth of power of the magical ear. Give us the ability to extract the mysterious wisdom that is captured in so many teachings, regardless of where they come from. Give us the ability to perceive your voice of silence. We ask of this, Divine Father, in your holy name. So be it. Let's go ahead and focus the attention of our consciousness on our toes. And from our toes, we focus on our heels, our ankles, our shins, our calves, our knees. And we immediately notice that gentle sensation that comes from a state of relaxation. A gentle vibration. It is a gentle softness. We experience that sensation with a great deal of satisfaction, and once again focus the attention of our consciousness on our knees, the underside of our thighs, on our hips. We focus the attention of our consciousness at the very base of our spine. And from there we perceive that relaxation expanding along our hips into our creative organs. And as we allow the attention of our consciousness to start rising upwards in our spine, one vertebra at a time, we start feeling that relaxation growing from very deep within our abdomen. We experience that sensation of relaxation in our internal organs. And focusing on this part of our body, we can invoke then our Divine Mother. Divine Mother, We are here humbly at your presence, asking of you and begging of you of your powerful contribution. Divine Mother, we ask of you that you bring unto us the Hermetic seal. Help us, Divine Mother, to close all those doors that we may have opened, doors that are associated to inferior thoughts, doors that are associated to negative emotions. And we beg that you bring of your fire and your presence. So that we may not give ourselves into the negative emotions. That we may immediately perceive our negative thoughts. For this we give you infinite thanks. Now let's take another deep breath in 1, 2. And we bring back our attention to our consciousness as it continues to expand along the chambers of our spine. And we feel that relaxation in our diaphragm, in our stomach, in our lungs, in our heart. And we take another deep breath in 1, 2. And we feel that relaxation reaching our shoulders. And from there cascading into our elbows, our wrists, our hands and fingers. Take a moment to perceive the gentle vibration that inundates all of your physical body. Know that this is the relaxed state that we are meant to exist in, whether we are celebrating or whether we're going through difficult, challenging times. And be certain that you can invoke your innermost today or in the upcoming days at any given moment, and ask of your Divine Father to bring back this very same state of relaxation onto your physical body. And He will do so. We experience this degree of relaxation with great gratitude and satisfaction. And we bring the attention of our consciousness to the very base of our skull, that space behind the head and between the ears. Notice how perceivable is that energy, even at a physical level. And we allow that attention to continue expanding, and it grows alongside the sides of our head. And we relax the muscles of our jaw, our tongue, our lips, our eyes and our eyelids. We relax the muscles of our forehead. And we allow that sensation of relaxation to continue growing until it finds itself at the very crown of our head. Use your objective imagination to see that consciousness radiates itself upwards unto the infinite heavens. And see that through that connection with our innermost, there is a gentle blue light that descends and penetrates, inundating your head and descending, inundating your heart and your lungs. Being infinitely grateful for this moment, we sing the mantra AUM CHIVATUM E. AUM CHIVATUM CHIVATUM AUM 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 CHIVATUM. AUM. 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 CHIVATUM AUM CHIVATUM AUM CHIVATUM AUM CHIVATUM Divine Father, we give you infinite thanks for granting us with your grace. We ask that during today, or perhaps today or during the upcoming days, as we continue to prolong the practice, that you grant us the opportunity to listen to your silent word. Allow us to come across parables, teachings, life experience. Give us the opportunity to extract from it its esoteric, its hidden, mysterious meanings. Give us the ability, Divine Father, to perceive the music of the spheres, the teachings of the great masters. We ask of this in your holy name. So be it. We take another deep breath in 1, 2. And we slowly wiggle our toes, we wiggle our feet and our fingers. And with that, we open our eyes. So dear friends, this has been our practice this evening with the mantra AUM CHIVATUM. Thank you, everyone, for joining us here this evening. And may all beings be happy.